Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard. Thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. As we look at the Week 1 precipitation anomalies from the GFS Ensemble model, getting us through May 21st and focusing in on the Northeast region, we see near to above average precipitation forecast here. We got a couple storm systems tracking through the area. The higher precipitation totals will be isolated and scattered in nature, but most picking up some precipitation as we head through the next week, again, giving us this near to above average look. So we look out a week further, so week 2, May 21st through May 28th, very similar look with maybe drier conditions off to the south. If you're in Pennsylvania, south from there, near to below average precipitation. But off to the north, again, keeping chances for these storm systems to track through the area as we develop an area of high pressure across the southeast. And that keeps things, again, dry. But storm systems developing in the central U.S., those are deflected off to the north of that, and that allows that precipitation chance to be a little bit higher than average across the north. Temperature forecast, days 0 through 5, so today through May 19th, keeping things pretty cool across the northeast region. If we take that a step further, day 6 through 10, so now we're talking May 20th through May 24th. That's where we develop this area of high pressure again, keeping things pretty warm across the eastern United States, and that does include much of the northeast region. So the reason for that, at least in the short term, we've got a trough over the northeast right now, and that's what's keeping it kind of cool and with precipitation falling across the region here to get the week started. We've also got a trough here that's been kind of stationary across northern Canada, and that's going to begin to slowly slide off to the southeast into our region. So once we get this Tuesday storm system out of here, we've got another chance coming in here in the next 24 to 48 hours. So go ahead and play this. You can watch this track off to the southeast. It begins to get swung around there and towards the southeast or to the northeast region from the northwest as we get into the end of the week. And we can take a look at the high resolution NAM models precipitation type forecast. This starts on Tuesday. Here we've got this area of low pressure across the northeast, and we can see the counterclockwise flow around that. And then by the time we get to the end of the week, that's where we can start to watch that next storm system come in from the northwest, arriving here Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening into the overnight, with another storm system on its heels coming in Thursday into Friday. And that just kind of highlights that pattern as we eventually build a ridge in across the southeastern United States, keeping things drier to at least drier than average across this region, but with the opportunity for frequent little storm systems to track through the northeast region, keeping things maybe a little bit wetter than normal across the northern portions of the northeast region. Your total precipitation forecast through Thursday, and this highlights the pattern, really. It's not widespread, heavy, day-long precipitation. It's these little storm systems with patchy showers and storms, maybe corridors of heavier precipitation kind of splotchy across the area, where maybe isolated areas picking up an inch or so of rain. Some folks in here getting maybe nothing or near nothing with some light rain, and then others in between with maybe, a few tenths of an inch. But not talking about these big, nothing nor'easter-like, none of these big low-pressure systems that bring day-long periods of heavy rain, but kind of each day we see the opportunity for one of these weaker storm systems to kind of zip through the area from northwest to southeast, bringing chances for these corridors of precipitation, again, through the end of the week. We'll look all the way for the next through into next week. So for the next 7 days, this takes in this week through the weekend and then into early next week. And that highlights, again, your attention is drawn to this pattern here across the central U.S., where we're going to be talking about frequent chances for severe weather, potentially a volatile pattern here, maybe one of the more active periods we've seen for severe weather across the Central Plains in the last few years. But it also highlights that corridor from the northern plains into the northeast region, where, again, we could see storm systems tracking through, bringing corridors of heavier precipitation. Now, I've got the European model up here now, and I've got the GFS that follows, and they tell a similar story. The story is different if you focus in on the central plains, where the European wants it to be a little bit heavier in the central plains. The GFS kind of brings things eastward into the Midwest, but when you focus in on the northeast region, again, just talking about maybe an inch to an inch and a half on average across the region. But again, there's going to be higher totals in there, and there will be folks who see smaller totals. It's not going to be as widespread as it is here across the Midwest. We'll talk about your high temperatures here then to wrap it up after we covered that little, kind of a complicated but not, too worrisome precipitation forecast with daily chances for some light precipitation. Your high temperatures on Tuesday getting into the upper 40s, kind of cool off to the north. Remember, we've got that storm system kind of just spinning away with rain chances across this region and cloud cover extending on beyond that. As we look ahead to Wednesday, you get your high temperatures back into the 60s across New York, into parts of Massachusetts and Rhode Island there. And then the the warmth begins to creep up from the south as we get into Thursday. And then Friday, 60s extending finally all the way up to the north into much of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Cooler in the higher altitudes there, where maybe we're just in the 50s. Saturday, high temperatures, that warmth does continue to build. We're now in the 70s all the way into parts of New York State, Massachusetts, and south from there, with mid-60s extending off to the north. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, and I'll have your next Northeast regional forecast for you right here midday on Friday. Have a great day.